Hello, sports fans. Larry Allen here, along with Scott Surratt. Scott has directed the Bulldogs to 12 consecutive playoff appearances, and if you're interested in the 12 years before he came, we were in 6 playoff appearances. And the Bulldogs tonight getting ready to have homecoming against the Chapel Hill Bulldogs. We're brought to you by Worthington Air Conditioning and Plumbing. But before we talk about Chapel Hill, we're going to go back to last Friday night, the Bulldogs' first district game, and it was a road game against the Van Vandals. The Bulldogs winning that one by a score of 21-7. Both teams had out some key players. Carthage without Cole Whitlock and also without Quan Brown. And for the Van Vandals, Jayton Moffitt, the son of the head coach, and their starting quarterback at the beginning of the year, he was in street clothes. 21-7 win, Scott.
Yeah, it was a good win on the road. We knew they were going to give us their best shot, and they played very well. And it was kind of we never make excuses, never would, but it was kind of how we practiced last week. We're losing Coach Mack on the Monday. We found out right before we was going to practice, and actually I was called out of practice, and we got everybody up and prayed, and it was kind of a somber week after that, honestly. Mm-hmm. And but it put everything in perspective, that's for sure. And but we did get a big road win. We didn't accomplish exactly what we wanted, because Kip Lewis got hurt. We just wanted to go win and get home and get better. But Kip did get hurt, so he'll be out probably the rest of the year.
Okay, tough loss there.
Yeah.
But, Scott, again, the defense holds Van to only one touchdown. There's only been one team this year that we faced that has scored more than 7 points against the Bulldogs. That's quite a year for the defense already.
Yeah, they played well. They really played well, and they do a great job coaching, number one. Coach Preston, Coach Morgan, Coach Marion, Coach Tucker, Coach Brown, those guys, and Coach Goodwin. They do a phenomenal job coaching. And when you have that, you always got a good chance. They put our players in good situations, and game plan's always good. So, and we play very well and physical and hard and all the good things that needs to have a great defense. And we're still pushing them. We're still pushing them to play better and better and better. So, and I think you'll see us continue to get better.
All right, speaking of getting better, I was out at practice, saw about an hour of it yesterday. And, at Chalk Talk, you mentioned the word intensity, a little bit of that maybe lacking up at Van. I thought I saw some intensity yesterday.
Well, there was a lot of intensity yesterday. We were flying around, and, we challenged the coaches to have more intensity, and challenged myself to have more intensity. And then I think you saw the players just, follow the lead, and then all of a sudden our seniors started leading and was excited, and that's how you practice. I mean, you're only going to be there around two hours. You might as well have fun and get excited and practice well. And that's ones that become champions that want to practice well. And we hadn't practiced great some this year, and that was concerned. And I had a meeting with some captains, our captains, and that's a big concern. And we're reading a lot of things that we're 5-0, whatever we're ranking is, whatever. This was last week and before the game, and I says, if we don't start practicing better, we're going to win a few games, but it's not going to be what we all want and our goals are. And if we'll practice better, who knows? And we may can do something special, but we can't worry about that. We just got to practice well and get better.
All right, give us an update on Kai Horton. Okay, your junior quarterback or first-year quarterback. How's he progressing versus where you thought he would be at this point in the year?
Well, actually ahead of where we thought he would be right here. Everybody wants him to come out of the gate and just be as good as a 2-year starter and Calps, and then then Calps as good as the Blisses, and Blisses as good as Bogan shoots, on and on and on, and Blisses and Bogan shoots as good as Morgan. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen early. Those guys were seasoned. They always played better their second year. But his progression is ahead of what we thought it would be, and he's got to continue to get better. We know that, and these seniors don't want to wait on him. And that's what I tell him. Those seniors don't care how good you are next year. or what about you this year? And he said, yeah, they're going to want the Bulldogs to win next year because they're real dogs, but it ain't going to hurt near as bad next year for the seniors if the Bulldogs get beat. So they're wanting to win now because this is their last chance at it. And he understands that. He's practiced well this week, and he had a few bad plays last week, but for the most part, he played pretty good.
All right, and let's get you to comment on a couple of key performers. First of all, let's go with Craig McNew. Now, I've heard you say before at Chalk Talk, hope to get the football to him more often. I tell you, he caught a long pass yesterday. He runs routes well, doesn't he?
He's a really good route runner. He's very underrated how fast he is. You don't know how fast he is. He can really run, and I told him the other night, I said, you ran right by him twice and you didn't tell us anything. So that's what we need to know, because we got eyes upstairs, but they're not on all 11. We don't have that many eyes, and so I think he'll communicate better with us. But he's a touchdown maker. We throw it to him, he catches touchdowns, and great hands, great route runner. He's our best blocker right now as the receivers, and we're challenging the other receivers to get tougher and block. Who's the best blocker on the team? Who's the toughest guy on the team out here? And so we got a lot of challenges in between ourselves and the positions, individual positions, and like receiver, whether it's receiver, who's the toughest linebacker, lineman, whoever. We always have a lot of challenges and keep challenging the players every day, and hopefully that's what keeps us, kind of on the top.
Now, with the varsity being at home, that means the JV and the freshmen will be on the road. So you have had a first-hand look last couple of weeks at the JV and freshmen. Your impressions?
Well, we're undefeated in both groups, and freshmen really hadn't had a close game, and then the JV had their really first close game against Van. They were undefeated coming in, and they had some good players, and we beat them by a touchdown. We were up by a couple of touchdowns, and Van scored there late. And but very, very proud of the way they practice. Our JV gives us a really good look and every day, and we've got some really good players. We're going to bring some of them up in the playoffs, and our freshmen we think that's a really, really talented class, and especially skill wise. I mean, they got a lot of skill in it, and so we're excited about it. Both quarterbacks have played well in that group. Connor Cuff, a freshman, and Rockamore, J-Rock, and the JV has really been impressive. He's got a gun, and they both got good arms, but J-Rock's really got a gun.
All right, so let's take a look now at, I tell you what, before we talk about the Chapel Hill Bulldogs, update on volleyball.
They're 33-4, I believe, and still just rolling on. And we swept Jasper Tuesday, and I think the most points they scored was 11 in a set. And so it's ending down. I think senior night's next Tuesday, and so it's coming to an end, and they'll be in the playoffs in a couple of weeks. And I think again, Coach Stewart and her staff have done a phenomenal job, and I think they're getting better, and I think they're hot, and we'll see what they can do in the playoffs. And I think they'll make a lot of noise.
Their position in relationship to Carthage High School record for victories, how close are they?
They're 2 away. If they win the next 2 district games, which we're heavily favored to win them, then we'll tie the school record, I think, at 35. And then if we can find a warm-up game that they count as a regular game, then that we'll have an opportunity to break it then. But if we can beat we can win the next 2 district and then beat a 4th place team, because we're going to win district and beat a 4th place team, then we'll have the record.
All right. Chapel Hill comes in. They are 0-1 in district play. Tell us about the Chapel Hill Bulldogs.
They got plenty of talent. We really like the quarterback. He's a coach's son. He's offensive coordinator's, offensive line assistant head coach's son that he brought with him. That the Coach Reardon brought with him, and so I really like him. He's a competitor. He's a senior. He's played some ball. You can tell from where he came from, and so you got to start with him. Their back was really good. He's down. I think he's out for the year. he was really good, the Griffin kid. And then they have a linebacker number 10 is very, very good. They have a corner number 17 that we really think's a good player. And so they got plenty of talent. They got a 52. It's a freshman. He's a big young man. And their defensive ends, I think, talent 52 and 35. Very talented, long. And so we're worried about we got to play a clean game, play more of a clean game. We had 4 turnovers last, one on kickoff return. The wind blew it straight backwards about 10 yards, but there's no excuse. We should have fielded it. Nobody touched it, and it was a tricky kick, but it doesn't matter. We played in the wind, and we got to play well in all elements. That's for sure. And but we clean those things up and play well. I think we'll be fine.
All right. Now you were looking at your phone before we went on with this interview and talking about the game plan for Chapel Hill. You've got some plans you've got to pay attention to before the game. Tell us about that.
Well, my wife just sent me a game plan for homecoming, and it says homecoming game plan. So I says that kind of. Somebody sent me plays here that we need to be running. So if we struggled the other night or so what, but no, it was actually where everybody's supposed to be. Is supposed to meet like 6:40 with the girls walking out homecoming court, and of course I'll be one. My daughter's on it, and I'll be walking. It's going to be different. I'll have a suit on, kind of like Coach Preston had last year when Kennedy walked, and so it's going to be different. Looking forward to it.
I tell you,
it's going to be great weather, and you couldn't ask for it. And I typically don't worry about the weather as much, but it was. I really didn't want to go out in a suit, and my daughter being out in a dress and everything, and I wanted this night to be special, for personal reasons, and I think it will be.
Milestones this week, Beverly and I, the birth of our 3rd grandchild, and you've had a bunch of milestones. I tell you, boy, when you have a student who's a senior, there's a bunch of them in that senior year, aren't there?
There is. It's. My wife always has a conversation, and she said, "Well, this is it for her. It's her senior year, And I know. Well, she's going to use that excuse for this whole year. Not my wife, my daughter, and can I go do this? It's my senior year. I guess, So anyway, it's been great. It's been fun. It just I wish she would go to Panola College here for about 3 years, but 2 years, whatever. But that's not going to happen. So anyway, I'd love her to stay as long as she could. But that's what the good Lord made us to be parents to let her go and hopefully raise her right, and she'll do great.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, tell us about you've already mentioned a little bit about the team and the fact that they are really, they've increased the intensity in practice. I take it that, in your opinion, obviously we're not playing the strongest team on our schedule this week, but I think they're ready to go. Am I right? I think
we're ready to go. I mean, it was, perfect setup. We let it all out at Pleasant Grove, and it is hard to play with high intensity in practice 2 weeks in a row. It always has been and always will be. And that's the reason that you always hear survive and advance in the playoffs by every level, because they know there's going to be that one that they play very hard, and then the next week it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to run those 6 good games in a row. We've never ran just any group 6 really good games in a row, but we have survived. And and that's what I thought we did last week, was survive. And in no time I feel like we were going to get beat. We were confident. I don't think the team panicked. We just knew we wasn't playing well. And that intensity, when you don't have intensity in practice, and then you don't have intensity in the game, you first thing you see is missed tackles, missed blocks, drop balls. The focus is not there. And then you're trying to turn it on, and it may be too late to play very, very well, not to win. And because we're going to celebrate all victories, whether it's we win by 1 or 40, and make our corrections every week like it's a loss. and we want to correct our mistakes and treat every game like it's a loss, and because you tend to play with more intensity and everything after a loss. But I think, like you said, you saw practice. I thought our practice was better. I thought our intensity was better. I thought we had more fun this week, and so I think you'll see it hopefully tonight.
All right, one other player I want to get your comments on. I thought I saw a couple of fairly spectacular catches by Kel Williams yesterday at practice.
Kel is really worked hard. You know, he is honestly, Kel is wearing contacts now, and he got his eyes checked, and he has caught extra balls after practice, and you can really see. I think you shouldn't turn it on. This is about when he turned it on last year too. I mean, it was this is when he took off, and so it's time. And I think he had, 11 touchdowns last year, and 7 of them in the playoffs. So that'll tell you that, I like those late bloomers because that's when we need them in the district and on in the playoffs, because he's going to be the one-on-one guy. We put him over by himself, and that's what we did last year. And I think you'll start seeing him make a lot of plays. His confidence is high. Now I think he sees the ball better, and I think you'll see him really, really play well.
All right, so homecoming Friday night. If you want to see Coach Surratt in a suit, make sure you're there early, right?
That's right.
So, okay, 6:40 for the homecoming activities, and then kickoff is at 7:30, and we'll be on there as we usually are at 7 o'clock. Hope you can be there. The first home game in 4 weeks, the last 4 weeks, and remember, this is the next to last home game this season. For Coach Surratt, I'm Larry Allen. Have a great weekend, everyone.